Hello, my friends. Welcome to The Rundown. I'm Victor Lucas. Let's get into it because we've got lots to talk about today. Started the day off, actually, with a look at the Xbox Partner Preview. It was a very solid stream from Xbox with a huge priority to focus on Alan Wake 2, which is launching imminently, and oh my god, does this game look incredible. I don't have a review code of Alan Wake 2 yet. I didn't go to any preview events to get hands-on or anything like that. I am getting the code soon, and I will be playing it soon. I'll come back with streams and a review for you, but I cannot freaking wait. This was easily the best look at the game that we have had. Ooh-yoy-yoy. Happy Halloween, everybody! They had a great trailer showing off the breadth and scope of the experience, but they also showed how the game is going to play in kind of real time with this mix of live action video footage and freaky, terrifying lighting and this just gruesome monster with two heads, but not beside each other. One was under the butt and one was on top of it. It just looked disgusting, walking on its hands. It's going to freak the frack out of me, and I can't wait to play Alan Wake 2. But we also got a nice look at some other big games, like the new component in the latest Yakuza game, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is coming out in early 2024, and they showed off this whole Dondoki Island, which is kind of reminiscent of some of the stuff you get to do in an Animal Crossing game. Build up your little homestead, chat with all the other people that are on the island, collect all kinds of resources, do some fishing. But what makes this a bit different, of course, is that you can get into some battles with the enemies that will also be on the island as well. You got to go and beat them up with bats and things like that. The visuals are incredible. Looks like it's made with a lot of humor, like all of the Yakuza games have this kind of tongue-in-cheek quality to them. They get dark, and they offer some pretty heavy moments for sure, these games, but they also aren't afraid to have a very good time and get a little bit silly. And Infinite Wealth looks like that's exactly what this game is going to provide as well. Can't wait for it. This is just a side component in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, so it should be a massive and very fun experience when it comes out next year. Now, there were other cool-looking games that were shown off, like Ikaro Will Not Die, which is being brought out by Thunderful. It looks like it's going to be a fast-paced, arcadey type of experience with neon-piped lighting and stuff like that. Looks like it's going to be twitchy and fun, and probably a lot of fun to stream, so I can't wait to get my hands on with this Ikaro Will Not Die. Still Wakes the Deep has a creepy atmosphere to it. This broken-down oil refinery with lots of different catwalks that have all been destroyed and devastated. You have to navigate the environment. It almost looked like a VR experience to me when they showed off the trailer, and it looks like audio is going to be a huge part of the component. It's a little slower paced. You're going to have to be very methodical and choose your steps wisely, but it also looks terrifying, and it looks like it could be a lot of fun. Spirit of the North 2 looks beautiful. I have to admit, I didn't play too much of the first Spirit of the North game, but I like the aesthetics. I like this back-to-nature kind of quality to it. It's always cool to play as a little fox in video games, and it does look lush and gorgeous and befitting of the years that have transpired since the first game, and the developers sort of taking advantage of all this new technology that's available to them. I'm looking forward to checking this one out, and also checking it out with my kid, who happens to be a huge fan of foxes. One of the biggest reveals in this partner preview was some actual gameplay of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is part of the much maligned Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1, which has some beautiful work in it, but yes, there's some problems with it at launch for sure. But Metal Gear Solid Delta looks wonderful. It's taking advantage of Unreal Engine 5 technology. You don't really get a sense of what that means from this early footage here, but this is one of the best games ever made. It was just an absolutely outstanding achievement when it was originally released on the PlayStation 2. I am so freaking excited to see what the enhancements mean, what the boss fights are going to look like and entail, because these are some of the coolest bosses I've ever played and ever fought against in a video game, and the story is awesome. And as much as I want a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, it almost makes sense chronologically to start with Metal Gear Solid 3 and kind of work our way into the lore here. If they do this right, I suspect we're going to be seeing a lot more from Metal Gear games, remakes, and hopefully some new ones in the not-too-distant future. But Metal Gear Solid Delta, yes, looks mighty good. I'm also very excited to get my hands on RoboCop Rogue City, which looks like it handles the license beautifully. The source material looks like it's honored big time in this game. It doesn't look state-of-the-art, but it looks ridiculously fun, and you've got all the abilities and the firepower that RoboCop brings to bear. Looks like lots of explosions and lots of overkill with regards to how RoboCop handles situations. Also going to be fighting against Ed 209, which looks pretty damn cool as well. A sense of humor is a big part of the RoboCop experience, and I think this game is going to provide that as well. I'll have a review of this one for sure, and I'll stream it as soon as I get it and can. But RoboCop Rogue City looks like some ridiculous, over-the-top fun, and I can't wait to play it. We also got a peek at the good-looking visuals in Ark Survival Ascended, which has a great vibe. I didn't really play Ark the first time that it sort of hit the scene out there, so I'm interested to check this one out for sure. And the trailer definitely reveals some beautiful environments and some cool-looking dino beasties that we're all going to have to face. I hope this one plays as good as it looks, but it does look intriguing for sure. And I was also intrigued by Manor Lords, and a bunch of people in the chat were suggesting maybe this is a new Age of Empires, and then we all remembered it's a partner preview. It's not Microsoft first party, but this does look pretty damn cool. Lots of awesome details. I don't know how much the clamor for real-time strategy is out there, but this looks like it's going to satisfy any cravings for that kind of gameplay. It looks incredibly ambitious. I hope Manor Lords is fun when it hits PC Game Pass next year. And there were a few other titles in the mix there as well, but I think the big reveal was definitely a nice, tasty chunk of Alan Wake 2. What did you guys think of the Xbox partner preview? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know how excited you are for Alan Wake 2. All right, let's switch over to the world of Lego, and we've got a Lego Dune Ornithopter that you can pick up in February of 2024. I'm sure it was going to be ready for this holiday season because Dune Part 2 was supposed to hit theaters, but of course, because of the strikes, it's been delayed until March of next year. But in February, you're going to be able to pick up this crazy collectible and build your own ornithopter, and it comes with a bunch of cool little minifigures like Paul Atreides and Lady Jessica, Gurney Halleck, and Duncan Idaho. But the cool one, of course, is Baron Harkonnen, which is this stretchy giant minifig, which looks hilarious and so freaking cool. This whole set just looks irresistible to me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have one, and I'll have to clear some space in my space here to show off this ridiculous ornithopter. They've got some beautiful shots of this thing with everything out of focus in the background. It just looks so stylish. Of course, I love Denis Villeneuve's first film. I can't wait for his sequel. I read the books ages ago, and never in my wildest imaginations could I ever conceive of a time where we could make a Lego ornithopter. But here we are. I can't wait. Now, over the weekend, I traveled with my family and some friends to Disneyland and checked out all of the cool Star Wars stuff, and we had a really good time. But we also went to Universal Studios Hollywood and checked out Super Nintendo World, which opened to the public earlier this year. This was my first opportunity to go to this theme park attraction and give it a look-see and check everything out. We went on the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge ride, and I have to admit that I was a little disappointed with the whole experience. Obviously, I've built everything up in my mind, and I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I'm a huge Mario fan, and I was actually playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder as I was traveling through Disneyland, big lines and stuff like that, or I'd go off and chill, or at night in the hotel rooms, I'd be playing some Super Mario Brothers Wonder, having an incredible time. And then I just was expecting Nintendo World to be so freaking fantastic. It makes an amazing first impression when you come through the warp pipe and you see the world around you and all the animatronics, and it looks like an actual level in the game, which I think was the idea there. And there are some blocks that you can punch, and there are mini games in the attraction that are kind of tied to the Nintendo Super World bands, where you can collect points, and there's the actual leaderboard and stuff. We didn't really get into that, but what I did want to do was check out the ride, and I think it was the ride that was the most disappointing for me, because it's based on one of the best video games ever made. In my mind, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with all of its DLC and just its ongoing enjoyment, is probably the best racing video game that's ever been made. It's crazy. And so the theme park should really honor that experience, and I don't really think that it does. One of the main issues that I have with the experience is that it's 4 people per cart, and what they do is they put this headset on you with these AR glasses, and it's incredibly convoluted. So every headset looks like a Mario cap, and then you snap in these VR glasses, and then you're basically looking around in AR trying to find targets, and there's a button on the controller, and you're just shooting like mad, and then you get a bunch of new shells and you keep shooting in different directions, and it just takes away a lot of the precision. Now, everybody has their own wheel and they're turning at the same time, and you are rewarded with coins if you make the turns properly, but it doesn't really give you the agency or the sense that you are actually navigating through this cool looking design. And that's one of the big things here, is that they built a beautiful environment for us to appreciate Mario Kart in, and the karts themselves look pretty cool. There's all kinds of incredible detail as we're going into the ride, and then you get into the ride and it's a lot like the Toy Story targeting ride that they have over in Disneyland, or the Spider-Man Web Slingers ride, which is also kind of disappointing, where you're just kind of pointing at virtual targets and you're trying to make do with the imagery that you have, which is impressive technology, but it's like first gen on this technology. It's not completely immersive and you're completely lost in the world. And also the visuals, the graphics that are on screen, with all of this expense that has gone into this world and this experience, you just would expect something to totally take your breath away. When you come from the Harry Potter land and all the nooks and crannies with lots of little details and all the shops and things that you can go into, or especially the Galaxy's Edge component in Disneyland, which is just so ripe with tiny, cool little details that really take you into another world, and you go to the Super Nintendo world, which is the newest one out of all of these, and it already feels thin. It feels like there's just not enough to do. The gift shop was kind of cool. There weren't that many gotta have them souvenirs in there, at least for me. You know, I did see people wearing the big hats and all that stuff. I like the little star popcorn holders and things, but there just wasn't that many awesome types of collectibles. I think that Nintendo honestly should have an opportunity to play through its history. All of it has this modern day cartoony aesthetic, which is awesome, but Nintendo also represents a brand that stretches across 35 years or more of gaming history, and I think that could be exemplified in Nintendo Super World in some bigger ways. I was just a little deflated. I really wanted this to be a knockout for me. Now, I know a lot of people are walking around in there and they're super happy and they're having a good time, but I think the Mario Kart ride should be better. I think there should be more rides. I think the souvenirs should be better. The restaurant that they have, we couldn't get into because it was all sold out. You have to kind of make your reservations early in the morning, so I can't talk about the food. But yes, I was disappointed with Super Nintendo World, and I was shocked that I was. I think most of the blame has to fall on the Mario Kart ride. It just wasn't cool enough. Incredibly elaborate, super complicated, and I think a big chunk of the waiting times for the line is that it's just so convoluted with all this stuff that you have to snap into place and put on, and the seats aren't especially comfortable. It's just frustrating. But I do think you should check it out for yourself if you're ever at Universal Studios in LA, and I know that it's going to be opening up in Florida, and it's also in Japan. Judge for yourself whether you dig it or not. It's super cool to be in that zone and to feel Nintendo and Mario all around you. I guess I just wanted more. And finally, there's a release date that's been announced for the remaster of Star Wars Dark Forces. I can't wait to play this game again. It's going to be hitting the consoles and the PC on February 28th, 2024. And man, it's going to be so cool to dive back into this seminal Star Wars experience that blew our minds when it originally launched in 1995. I've played the 1995 version on the Steam Deck over the last year or so, and it totally holds up. And it's going to be great to have some quality of life improvements. Night Dive Studio is the company that's doing this. They just did a great job with the System Shock remaster, and I'm super stoked to dive back into this experience. We don't have long to wait. February 28th. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with some fresh news, interviews, reviews, and streams for you right here and over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EPN. Thank you so much for supporting the Electric Playground. We'll see you soon, and until then, play forever.